Welcome to How's Your ePresence on Business Radio X. This show is produced by ePresence, and I am Mark Calvert, the founder and CEO of ePresence. We are coming to you live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio inside the Sonesta Gwinnett Place Atlanta Hotel, and I need a new DJ. My music just got slaughtered. Sorry. Hey, man, it's all good. I can't do any better than you anyway. So, how's your ePresence? Let's get back to the show. How's your ePresence is a show designed to help business people or companies understand ways to implement social media better. Businesses today need to stay relevant. And to do so and to stay on top of the various forms of social digital marketing is difficult. Social media is the form of digital media that's constantly changing. Here on How's Your ePresence, we try to share information to help businesses and business owners do just that, stay on top of the social media game. We want you to succeed in this digital space. We want social media to help bring you more revenue. Our company, ePresence, manages social media for you, the individual. ePresence can launch a social media profile for you. Why? Because today's best and brightest understand that business is done more effectively by the individual profile on social media. So every month we do this show, and there are always great questions that come up. And some of the questions that come from the training programs that we do are things like, how many people really look at their LinkedIn feed? Why is my Facebook company page not reaching as many people? Should I connect to everyone that sends me a connection request on LinkedIn? If you've got a question of like this, similar question, or others, you can hit me on my social media and my handle everywhere. I don't care where you go. My handle on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter is the same. ePresenceMG. So that's ePresence, for Mark, G for Galvin. Hit me there. Send me a question. I'd love to interact with you. I meet a lot of people and literally meet a ton of people on LinkedIn these days that are reaching out for questions or just want to network. Shoot me a question. If you hit me on LinkedIn, it's the best place for me, or any of the other social media sites, and I would love to answer a question. And hey, who knows? I may bring your question and answer your question right here on the show. So what's today all about? I'm going to tell you what, we always bring in great guests on our show. And this month we were struggling to find a good guest, I hate to tell you.
I really appreciate that, Mark.
This month we have a host of another Business Radio X show, Al Simon with Sandler Training. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you. Best you could do for this show, huh?
Can I interrupt, Mark?
You can, absolutely.
You've now alienated not only the producer, but your guest in the first 2 minutes of the show.
I am batting 1,000. I just love that.
That's only so he can gain momentum as we go.
Well, let's go ahead and alienate the listeners now.
No, that would be bad. I'm not that bad, right? Well, that's funny stuff. I have never tried that before. Now I know. I got it out of the system. I don't have to ever do that again. So there you are. Well, Al, I'm glad you're here. All joking aside, I have been on your show. Great show. Yours is on Thursday at 2, right? At what time?
No, we do it 11:30 on Tuesday.
11:30. 11:30 on Thursday. So you're on the third Thursday at 11:30.
That's it.
Perfect.
Yes.
But you're just not a great radio host. You do some other things that are really cool. What else do you do?
I play tennis. No,
I love tennis. Did you go to Wimbledon recently? That would have been a good thing.
I watched it on TV. Does that count?
That does count. Okay. Well, I suppose. You had a show to do here. You couldn't go to Wimbledon.
I know.
Well, maybe you could have.
People were counting on me. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. No, I do. I have a company that does sales stuff. We train, we coach, we help people up their game in sales, whether it's sales or sales management or customer service, all things sales.
All things sales. All right. And the name of the company is Sandler Franchise. You have a Sandler franchise,
yes,
right?
It's called Sandler Training by Simon Inc.
By Simon Inc.
Yes.
So you've been doing this for ages, ever since you left Georgia Tech. You started this. Oh, yeah, actually, I know you did something right out of Georgia Tech. So you graduated from Tech and got a degree in industrial management. Is that right?
I did.
And so you went from that. What'd you do between that and your company now?
I was a corporate sales guy.
Oh, were you really? So always in sales?
For 24 years, I was a corporate sales guy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So Sandler franchise for 18 years. You do training. You're in front of people all the time. You're very comfortable in front of a microphone, in front of people. face-to-face training, or even do you do consulting?
Yes.
Okay.
So a lot of times our clients will need our help strategically.
Okay.
Maybe they're going to revamp their sales team or their sales process, or they want to marry their marketing and their sales efforts, and so they're more synergistic, and so we get involved in a lot of things like that. Sometimes we even get involved in consulting and things non-sales. For example, profit margin help, and
that's great.
Interestingly enough, that sometimes happens because their salespeople are discounting to win. So it's still a sales problem.
That is interesting.
Yes.
So, you come to the table with a lot of experience. Here's why I wanted you on the show. Number one, because you're a great guy.
Oh, yeah.
Number two, you do social media well.
Thank you.
I have seen that, you and I are connected, and I watch the type of work that you do, and I'm impressed. So I think that you're going to bring a lot to the table today. We're gonna drill in and look at the type of work that you're doing at Sandler and weave in some social media stuff. But before we do that, are you okay we talk about updates on social media?
I want to hear.
All right. So here's what's going on. For the next couple of minutes, we're going to talk about what's new on business social media. So the first thing is this. LinkedIn organic reach is fantastic. What does that mean? That means if you post something, so Al, you go out and you post an interesting thing, a great sales update out there, and on ways that I can double my revenue this year, it's going to reach a lot of people. And you don't have to pay for that. You don't have to boost it. You don't have to do anything like that. You just have to make sure it's posted correctly, and you're going to reach a lot of people. That's that organic reach. It's fantastic. Here's how you make it even better. Number one, don't ever post a post with a link. So that's a little repetitive, I suppose. When you drop something on LinkedIn, it's better not to have a link to an article. Now, that sounds strange because a lot of us do that, and I do that all day long.
We did it a lot, too.
You bet. And there's nothing wrong with it. But if you have something that you want to reach a lot more people, it is better not to use a link in the post. And here's why. LinkedIn wants people to interact with people. They want people to post content where their audience is going to interact with them. So as soon as you drop a link in there, they think, okay, this is reaching outside. They're just simply sharing content that's repurposed. Don't do that. I would have some posts that would vary that, shake it up a little bit. If you do that 3 times a week, make sure 2 times a week at least you're posting something that doesn't have a link in it. The other thing is this. When you post something or when you go to someone else's post, don't share a post. And I brought this up a couple times now, because when you share it, you break it apart from the other person's post. So if you post something, and it is it's a great article, and I think it's interesting, or you share a great tidbit on how social media or how I could sell better, and I go and I think that's awesome, and I want to hit share because that share button's right there on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
I shouldn't do that. Here's why. I break it apart from your post, and now becomes a separate post on my feed. Okay, now that's cool. That, in the surface, that doesn't sound bad, right? Here's why it's bad. I break the not just analytics, I break the potency of your post away from you and have to rebuild. It's like a brand new post. But let's say your post already has 150 people that have engaged with it, or maybe they've liked it.
Right.
By commenting on it, it's now going to be on my post as a comment because it automatically pushes it there. And all those other analytics that are making that post look great will push it higher on my feed also.
Okay.
Comments are the way to go. One more step. Now, let's say I've commented.
Before you go there, can I ask you a question?
Go.
So, our purpose in using social media is to get people to engage with us.
Sure.
And so we're wondering if it makes sense, rather than like posting with a link, instead sharing that we have material, a white paper or some kind of a tool.
Sure.
And we're thinking about saying, have a call to action that says, if you want this tool or you want this white paper, contact me or comment and we'll get it to you.
Good.
What do you think about that?
That's great. That is fantastic. That is, you think about the anatomy of a post. You are not including a link. You're saying post here and we will send you that. So you're asked, there's a call to action there, your sales guy, that's a great thing. Yep. So they're commenting on your post, you're watching it, and now you're boosting the importance of that post because people are commenting, and you're able to interact as a real person. And that makes other audience members see that and like it. and may want to interact and may jump in and say, hey, I'm interested in that too, because now I see a lot of people are interested in it. So sign me up. The next thing is,
well, what I worry about is only one person will say, yeah, send that to me. And everybody will see that only one person commented.
Well, that's okay.
That's okay.
I don't think that that's bad. It will be it will be one of those things where at least there's one person that's interacting with it, and others will see it, and they may next time. So there'll be a next time. They'll ask for it next time. They'll respond to something like that next time because of how you're responding to them.
That makes sense.
So building that over time doesn't hurt you. I don't think that. Don't shy away from that. Get more contacts. That's one thing I would do. Build more connections. So I know you're doing this purposefully. Keep that up. So as you're building that audience, you're going to reach more people. Make sure you have other folks on your team also comment or but like the post. Liking works well, or even comment themselves, and that will help build it, push it to their feed, and you'll reach even more people. Or here's something else, very strategic. This is a LinkedIn hack. Ask me to be a good partner, and when you post something, have me comment on it.
Oh.
Because I've got almost 6,000 connections. As soon as I do that, you're going to reach all my connections. Reach out to anyone that you know that it will support your mission, and ask them to make a comment about this important post, and you'll push it to their audience.
Okay. And I always like or comment or both on posts that my clients put out there.
Okay, now this is important. This is a great thing. Why do you do that?
Because I want them to know that I'm in their court. I know that will raise them too, because then they get access to my connections.
Right.
So they know that I'm helping them be successful.
And there's something else that's big here.
I'm missing it.
You are letting them see that you're there. You're reminding them that you're there. I think everyone, if you're in sales, you should have 5, 10, as many as you want, whatever's manageable. But I say 5 hot targets, and you're watching them on LinkedIn once a week. Go in, pull up their profile, see if they posted anything. And if they have, comment or like their posts. And you're going to send them a notification that says, hey, if I'm following you and I see that, you're going to say, look at Mark Galvin just commented on my post, or he just liked my post, and now I'm on your mind. I'm reminding you that I'm there. And
that makes perfect sense.
And you know what? On the sales side, if I can stay in front of you, you may not be interested in buying today, but when you are ready to buy and you remember me, you're going to buy from me because I'm on your mind. Versus the guy that's my competitor who forgot that you were there.
I think that's really important because social media quickly develops this mound of stuff over what you just posted, right? I mean, it's quickly gone. So
that's a great way of putting it.
So always being top of mind is huge.
That is big. So there's something that's interesting about that organic reach on LinkedIn. And this article just came out recently from Social Media Today where they were talking about how Instagram engagement is down. So what does engagement mean? That means that something is posted and people are interacting with that post. And the reason Instagram engagement is down is because there's more and more companies that are jumping on LinkedIn. They're up to 25 million company pages that are on there.
Amazing.
And which is good. I don't blame these companies. I think it's smart. They're running to that marketplace because they can reach an audience. I totally get it. But people don't interact with company pages. So what's important is, as a business person, continue to interact on the individual level with your targeted clients. So if you're interested in a particular person, connect with them on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, wherever that audience is for you. And everybody has our audiences in different places depending on what type of business we're in. And then engage with those people from a personal level. Instagram is also driving down organic reach because they want you to pay them, i.e. Facebook, to show up in front of more people too. Yeah. So all this engagement stuff on Facebook and Instagram is being minimized because they want organizations to pay to reach more people.
Certainly do. But this concept's not just for social media, Mark. We've often said in sales that people buy from people. Companies don't buy from companies, people buy from people. And it's true.
They absolutely do. Did you hear my show note, my last show? Because we say that. We that's one of the little things, and I skipped it today, where we say people do business with people, and people interact online with people. So you should activate your personal online social media profile to engage with those folks. You do this in sales. You know this. You tell people this all the time. It's better to go deep than to go shallow. Is that work into the vernacular there? And I haven't been to one of your trainings. I need to do that.
You need to do that.
Yeah, I
Yes.
would. I can always. Here's my problem in sales. I'm really good at getting in front of people and talking to them, and I am bad at closing. I'm just very bad. And then when I close, I don't want to go through the details. I have to say, okay, great, let's get this done. And I run out of the office and forget to say, well, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. Anyway, we'll have to talk.
More people are the other way. They always say, I'm really good at closing, but I'm not talking to enough people.
Yeah, I need to team up with one of those folks. I can probably help them with that. So let's see. Just doing a clock check, I want to go through one more thing that I think is that's important, and that is that something else that's going on LinkedIn. They are killing. I call it this. They're killing their APIs. And what is an API? An API is it's a data point. The easiest way I can describe it is a data point where I can reach into LinkedIn and get information that I can use as a third-party application, or I can report on that. And LinkedIn's limiting that. This really makes me angry, right? And here's why. I use a program called Evernote. Ever heard of Evernote?
I do.
It is. I put all my notes there. When I go to see a client, I plug all my notes in Evernote, and Evernote interacts and interfaces with my CRM. So I keep all my notes in one place, and my CRM will grab that. So when I go to see Al and I'm on the way, and I'm sitting in the parking lot 10 minutes before the appointment, I say, okay, last time Al and I talked about XYZ. It's all sitting in Evernote.
Quick commercial, by the way. Evernote and Sandler Training have a partnership.
Oh, really?
Really?
Well, and that was I didn't know that. I will tell you, I love Evernote. I should sell for them because I am so in love with that thing. I got to tell you a funny story. I'm walking through a kitchen store, and my wife wanted something for the holidays. She says, I really want that accoutrement. I don't remember what it was. And I said, okay. And I took a picture of it on Evernote. And I knew there was a pig in the branding of this thing. Well, Evernote will scan the words of whatever you take a picture of.
Okay.
And I couldn't remember it, so I searched pig, and it brought up the item.
Awesome.
I'm amazed at that. So whenever you scan something on Evernote, it's always looking at those words, and they become searchable. But I would take a picture of a business card on Evernote. It would save it in Evernote. It would put that business card in my contacts. So if I took a picture of your card, your data, your phone number, email, which are really the two most important things to me these days, will show up in my contacts in Outlook. Great. Plus, it would send a LinkedIn request to you. So just by taking a picture of your business card, I could send you a LinkedIn request. It's gone. As of June the 30th, June the 29th or something, they got rid of that API. So all these card scanners programs that are out there on the Apple Store and on the Google Store, they don't do that anymore because LinkedIn got rid of that API. So bad news for
LinkedIn is judge and jury, aren't they?
Well, they do control their own world, don't they?
They do.
And I have a feeling what's happening is Microsoft's trying to figure out how they can monetize a lot of their properties, and LinkedIn being one of them. And I have a feeling that you'll probably be able to do that with a LinkedIn property, one of their products eventually. But right now, that's frustrating. Who knows? Maybe Microsoft.
That's the business model. You give them something, then you take it away, then you give it back to them where they have to pay for it.
Right, and I would pay for it. I would. It's just super convenient. Well, I've got a couple questions for you, my friend.
Okay.
You do a lot of great things on LinkedIn and on social media in general. What do you think is your most effective tactic on social media?
I went through this progression of mindset towards social media because I'm old school. I've been around a long time.
Right,
I'm really, really old.
You are not that old, but anyway.
My wife tells me she says I got to quit telling people how old I am.
No, it just means you're experienced.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And when social media started to be a thing, I thought, it's a fad, won't really be relevant in business for sure. And then when it stuck around and started to get bigger, I thought, okay, well, maybe I should at least
do something with it.
Do
right?
something, yeah. So I dabbled, and I was one of the first LinkedIn, people. Really, I was among the early adopters when we didn't know what we had.
Sure.
Back 2004, 2005 time frame, whenever it was, and then I started realizing this is actually a tool that is really becoming relevant, especially because we reached a critical point where business people were on LinkedIn, and that made it really important. And so we've gotten ahead of it, and at Sandler we have a lot of content on how to use social media for sales.
Really?
And so we are ahead of the curve. Well, if you can be ahead of the curve, but
Sure.
we are with the curve, maybe I should say, in terms of social
Riding
media.
the wave.
And how to how to use it for selling, for getting more revenue. And so our most effective tactic is really teaching our clients and ourselves also using it to get appointments, to take it from an interaction on social media like a like or a comment,
Sure.
engage with us here, and then taking that to maybe a phone call,
Okay.
and then taking that to a face-to-face meeting.
Which is so important.
People buy from people.
Yeah.
So
right there.
you really have to do that. The people that keep the engagement in social media, it either dissolves or becomes stale, or you can sell your goods for at commodity level, because you
Right.
got to be talking to people. But social media is so really good at starting the conversation. That's really what it's really good at, and so we teach that big time.
That is brilliant. So you are you do something on LinkedIn that I think is brilliant. We talked about the, having and my conversations are getting jumbled in my brain. Did we talk about following 5 people on the air? We haven't done that yet.
No.
So you follow people and you'll comment on their posts.
Yes.
This is what I call a hot hack tip. If you've got 5 people, maybe there's more. I like 5. Pick 5 clients, follow them, watch when they post, comment on their posts. Just by doing that, you are going to get in front of them because you'll show up in their notifications.
Yes.
And you said you do this.
I do that with clients, but what you're getting me to realize is I need to do it with target market.
Targets. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Not current clients. I mean, current
Right.
clients are important.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
None,
Yeah.
Because, you want to keep those clients. That's important. But targets are very important.
Right. So you need to get your ideal client profile.
Right?
And a good way to do that, by the way, is to take your best current client and find out who else is like them.
I love this.
Which in LinkedIn actually is good for that. They have
Yep.
a way of doing that, and then so you can determine your top targets, follow them, and then like and comment. That's a great idea.
So, I'm a member of Power Core. Have you heard of Power Core?
I have.
Yeah, I'm a new member of Power Core. I
Are
mean,
you?
this is like drinking from a fire hose. I'm in that stage. They talk about that constantly. You've got to make sure you look at who is your best client. I'm going to call it, this is not their words, this is mine. Build a template. This is my favorite client. This is my best client in that checks so many boxes. And go find that person.
Yes.
There's your cutout. Go find this person in other areas and they're going to want your business.
Yes.
That's just brilliant. So
You should have them come speak to your Power Core group, because I've got a tool to help them create their ICP, Ideal Client Profile.
well, we need to do that. Absolutely. So you do something, speaking of hot hack tips, you do something on Tuesday mornings.
I do.
And you love doing this.
I
right?
do love doing it, and it's so kitchen sink stuff.
I
mean,
love it.
Yeah.
But what is it? Share that.
So I do a 1.5, 2-minute max video called the Tuesday Teaser.
And you bring in a whole production crew. It is well produced. You got lighting, the whole bit, right?
Yeah, the lighting is the fluorescent lights in our training center, and the production crew was one of my clients who got there early.
Oh, okay.
And is willing to push the
Hold this.
record button?
So seriously, you don't have a production crew.
I don't.
You have a camera, a phone. You're holding it up. You're speaking.
I do have a tripod.
Okay.
I put the camera on a tripod. Yeah.
tripod,
Yeah.
and you're rolling with it.
Yes, and its
So-
topic is whatever the topic of the day is. Like on Tuesdays we have a class called the Sales Mastery Class, which is a bunch of people who are fairly advanced in their sales and in their Sandler journey, and we go pretty deep. And so I just take whatever that topic is for that week, and I just give a 1.5, 2-minute video on it, and I end it with a call to action that says, "Hey, maybe we should talk." And it's out there on LinkedIn and on Facebook and on Twitter, and people just eat it up.
They do. This is a very good tip for everyone, because it is hard to take that leap to say, okay, I'm gonna jump in front of my camera and I'm gonna do this because it's uncomfortable, it's awkward, it's blah 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 blah. Every time I drop a video, it reaches more people than anything else, and it's and there are some other tips. Do you do the subtitles?
No.
So we'll have to talk about that. I'm having a brain cramp. If anyone reminds me of this that you're listening, there is a service I'm not going to remember right now. There's a service where you send it off, and they will put subtitles on your video for you.
Really?
Yeah, you need subtitles because some people were sitting in the office, you pop up, they can't turn on the sound, but they can read it, they'll read it. So add subtitles to that's your homework assignment for next time.
Hey, this is worth the show just to get that tip.
Yeah, and I can tell you what the program is. It's not that I'm trying not to say them, I just can't remember. But it's super affordable. You pay like $4 or $5 and they'll do it for you.
Awesome.
But video reaches a larger audience. More people interact with video, want to see video. So sharing something like that, I think, is absolutely brilliant. You've talked about your training. You've done this a lot. We have 5 minutes. What are one of those things, and before we go, I want to get into this, give us a nugget. What is a sales thing that I need to know, that you say, Mark, here's the sales thing you need to know before you walk out of here?
Yes. Well, there's so many. But
I know.
Just so many. But here's the thing. Salespeople are famous for thinking they're good at sales.
Sure.
But so many are bad.
Right.
Yeah, as a business owner, I get called on by salespeople all the time, and they're bad.
Right.
They're really bad. And it's mostly about them.
Right.
I want to get on your calendar. I'd love to show you how I can save you money. I'd really like to do this or do that. And so they're making it about themselves. And not only that, but the I'd love to, I'd like to, I want to, those phrases immediately, exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's not about the other person. And what do prospects care about? They care about themselves.
Right.
So we got to stop doing that. We got to stop typing it in our emails. We got to stop saying it in our talk tracks, and use other phrases instead. And a good way to think about this is what we call embedded commands. So an embedded command, for example, rather than saying, I'd love to get on your calendar, Mark, I should say, Mark, would it make some sense for you and I to get our calendars out and mark out 90 minutes when we can invest in each other?
I like that.
So, why don't we is an embedded command. It's a question, but it's not really.
Right.
It's really a suggestion, a very strong suggestion, so it's an embedded command. Why don't we? Or let's do this. Or let me make a suggestion. I'm not actually going to wait for you to give me permission to make the suggestion.
Right.
I'm going to make the suggestion.
There it is. Sure.
Yeah, but it's phrased, let me make a suggestion.
So this is what you do at Sandler's. You help drill into really the psyche of the way people operate. All people work the same way.
Sales is so psychological.
Yeah, I use this phrase all the time. My last boss told me this. I thought it was brilliant. People hate to be sold to, but they love to buy.
Exactly.
So you just got to be in front of them when they want to buy. Well, we're at 3:27, and the boss man's over your shoulder. He's looking at me. He's got this great new clock here in the studio that's fantastic.
Really, I can't see it.
So, so we got to wrap here. I got a ton of questions. I wish we had more time, and we can get into that.
We'll just have to do it again.
Well, I'll tell you what people need to do is they need to look you up. How do they do that?
SimonInc.Sandler.com.
SimonInc.Sandler.com.
That's it.
All right.
It's the best way.
I'm going to find you on Twitter. Where do I go?
Oh, what is it? Sandler Simon.
Oh, I love that. I kind of stumped him. Yeah, Sandler Simon. I got that.
Simon.
That's
Yeah.
right. Good.
Yeah.
And then your LinkedIn handle is AlSimon0. AlSimon0 is your LinkedIn handle. Do you know you had a LinkedIn handle? You ever heard something?
Yeah, I knew it.
All right.
I wish it didn't have to have the 0, but somebody beat me to it.
Well, Al Simon is a little bit, it's not like, supercalifragilistic. It's pretty, a lot of people have that last name. But
Yes.
hey, I am glad you were here. I appreciated the time.
I had fun.
We are, this is one of those things when we have someone that has great info, things go quick. So I apologize that we couldn't get into more stuff, but thanks for being here. I appreciate you.
I enjoyed it.
When you are, for all of you folks out there, when you're looking for ePresence, just hit the web, look for ePresence. It's easy to find us. We got a brand new website. You can follow us on LinkedIn or Twitter and find us at ePresenceMe. That's ePresenceMe because it's all about you. And that's our website as well, ePresence.me. Thanks for joining us here on How's Your ePresence. We broadcast live on the third Thursday of each month at 3 o'clock Eastern, or just remember, the third Thursday at 3 here, and you can find all of our shows 24/7. Go to the Gwinnett Studio on BusinessRadioX.com, search for How's Your ePresence, look for our show logo there, and you can give a listen to any of those shows. You can also find us on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, all those other spots by searching for How's Your ePresence. We drop all our shows there. And remember, you can find ePresence online at epresence.me. That's epresence.me because it's all about you. Until next time, for my guest, Al Simon, and I'm Mark Galvin, this has been How's Your ePresence on Business Radio X.